City Council will come to order, please. Clerk, call the roll.
Whitaker,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Godwin,
Here.
Hensley,
Here.
Addishell,
Here.
Rogers, Schmidt.
Here.
Let's all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Rule of minutes, you received copies of the minutes and also a correction to those minutes this afternoon by email. Any additions, further additions or corrections? Seeing none, they will stand approved as presented. Current financial report, you've received copies of that. Also, from the auditor's office, we need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Motion from Mrs. Houndeshell to accept the approval, or to approve the current financial report. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Addishell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda. At this time, we have nothing to add, or we don't have any need for an executive on anyone's part? I didn't get a chance to talk. Okay. So you see the agenda as it is.
Move to approve the agenda as it is presented.
Motion by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Addishell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
And have a couple of scheduled public hearings this evening. First, is a review the live stream council meetings from Jeff Francis, our IT manager. So, Mr. Francis, come to the mic and give us the what for here.
Okay, so Jeff Francis, IT manager, met with the administration, Roxanne and the mayor a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, trying to find the best solution forward as far as GPAT/live streaming. I think if we commit our resources to one or the other, we'll do a much better job and have a better product out there for the citizens. So they asked me to come up with, information, figures, what it would take to do either or, the pros, the cons, etc., and have a recommendation. So that's what I prepared and submitted prior to this. And today or yesterday evening, I received an email from the school, Lori, who runs the GPAT channel, with some questions. How's this going to work? How's that going to work? So I've also included that for you guys. And the red text on that is basically my feedback or thoughts on some of that information that she handed out. So I guess I'm here to answer any questions you might have, anything like that. So
For the general public's edification here, could you explain just a little bit why this is happening? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it is something that it again is being kind of done to us by Spectrum, the new manager of the cable system now, and it's not something that the city is doing.
Right. So basically, we're kind of at a turning point here where we need to decide a long-term plan for GPAT or Channel 5, and if we're going to continue to broadcast meetings. And one of the driving factors is cost, obviously. And at any time, Spectrum can start charging us for the connection fee. In the past, they were obligated to provide that for free. After talking to the sales rep, my Spectrum rep, basically, it's one of those things, if we get audited, they can decide at any time to start charging us roughly $500 a month just to be able to broadcast it to Channel 5. So there's some costs associated there. The equipment's getting kind of end of life. So we're reaching that point where all these costs are going to start hitting all at once. So it seemed like a good time to look at the overall picture of GPAT Channel 5. I also included the kind of a cost breakdown of last 5 years versus the, you know, potential next 5 years. And some of that is potential costs because we don't know if when and if Spectrum's going to come along and say, hey, we're going to start charging it now. So some of the costs are unknown. Well, they're known, but they're just the timeline. We don't know when and if they'll start charging for that. And like I said, there's equipment costs we'll be looking at over the next 5 years, et cetera, et cetera.
This 5-year forecast, just kind of summing it up here, maintaining Channel 5 would potentially cost us $71,000 over the next 5 years
Right,
versus going to live streaming, right?
right.
$2,750.
Yep. A lot of the infrastructure for the streaming we have, we use for other services, internet. You know, we already have a camera here, so some of the infrastructure we already have. So some of that cost we already have now to do Channel 5. So
Some of that cost is even gone already.
well, I'm just saying we wouldn't have to buy like
Yeah,
a
we
camera.
wouldn't. Okay.
Right. So I tried to do apples to apples, you know,
Right?
exactly what we're doing on both sides.
Can you explain a little bit more about if they charge us, we get a connection here, if we don't pay that, we lose the connection. And if somebody had to pick it up, probably the school, if they want to use it.
Yeah, if the school would want to maintain the channel, let's say we didn't want to pay for the connection, thus Time Warner, Spectrum, whoever would drop it. If the school wanted to maintain the channel, then the school would have to basically pick up the connection fee. And I know after talking to Lori, that sounds like something they're probably not going to want to do.
And that goes along with Channel 5.
Right. The connection gets you out to the TV, basically.
Without the connection, you lose Channel 5.
Right. So the connection cost is a variable. We don't know when and if it will be billed. These other costs are, you know, approximate for the next sometime in that next five-year period. So I know Lori had emailed me and some of her questions and comments, you know, one of them was they've sold, let's see here, sponsorships, thank you. Sponsorships through next year of 2020, May of 2020, I believe. So, you know, obviously I would feel like we're kind of obligated to maintain what we have until at least then.
So
But
they're selling sponsorships. Who gets that money?
the school district, because they're managing the station. So all we're doing really is providing the equipment in the back, the broadcaster, and the connection. The school kind of manages the station.
We, excuse me, we used to do it in-house. And then the former administration, because of trying to hire someone to be fully responsible for that here on site, just GPAT stuff, no IT involved, if I'm not mistaken. Then it was deal struck with the school that the school was wanting to implement a program that they had done a lot of years ago. Used to operate out of Memorial Hall, if I'm not correct, when the administration, most of the administrative area was up there. And they operated it from there for quite a while. But then things changed and it became GPAT here. And then we went back and agreed to spend, what, about $4,800 or $5,000
Yeah.
a year to the school for them to manage it and run it.
Correct.
And now we have no assurance from Spectrum that our costs will not escalate on their whim. And way back when the franchise was first developed with Time Warner and cable started to be the thing, it was a government regulation that they must provide government access channel or something like that, local channel. And we managed it. Now, of course, everything's changing.
Right.
Heck of it is, by the time you walk out of here tonight and we go home and sleep tonight, it'll all change again. That's the unfortunate thing about today, but appreciate your time. Obviously, there's nothing that we need to do or can do right now, but I think council needs to take a look at this pretty carefully, because, yeah, it's going to make what I perceive, and it's not you, Jeff, it's going to make an age discrimination thing. A lot of people like to watch Channel 5 and catch the council meetings, and that's kind of a way of them keeping up to date, but they don't have a cell phone and they don't do the streaming or screaming or whatever it is, or tweeting or twatting or whatever we do, and so they're going to be left out, and that to me is unfortunate.
Right.
So, that's something I think council needs to look at, consider, and take all of these figures and digest them. And maybe it's something that down the road we would want to have a kind of a work session with Jeff and maybe
That might
even
be
some of the
a bad
schools.
idea.
In the schools.
personnel,
Yeah, I would get the school involved.
and really kind of sort this thing out so that everyone kind of benefits as best we can.
Right. Yeah.
What's your opinion, Jeff?
I mean, just looking at the numbers and things of that nature, I would stream them all online and try to move the Channel 5 to an online stream functionality. I
A
mean,
lot cheaper, isn't it?
they've already established a Channel 5 YouTube page, so they're already duplicating a lot of things on that. So
I'd say a lot less expensive.
yeah,
You'd be able to watch the meetings on YouTube, right?
yes, we would live stream them on YouTube via the city's YouTube page.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to know a little bit more about it too with the school. Do they really get in depth? Is it part of is it just there? Or really do use it as a curriculum?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It'd be interesting to know how it would affect them. So, it'd be good to get together with them and find out about it.
Any further questions, members of council?
Has the volume been fixed? Can the public hear that?
the volume is a spectrum issue, and if I push and prod anymore, they're gonna probably be like, "You're not paying for a connection. Let's have a conversation." So, yeah, unfortunately,
You don't want to push too hard.
yeah,
It's like
unfortunately no. So,
We're getting what we pay for, right?
yeah, connection-wise, yeah, I guess so.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. And I'm sure if anything transpires here in the future, you'll be sending us more information as time comes. Yes. Okay, fine, thank you. Next, we have a grant for revitalization of Rotary Park from Krista Hutchison, Bloomingdale, Main Street, Greenville.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Good evening, Krista Bloomingdale, 317 West 3rd Street. So the mayor is currently passing out a packet of information that I believe was sent out to all of council on Friday afternoon by Vicki. But I did want to bring printouts of it just so you could have that kind of in hand for reference as we're discussing what we're hoping to do. So the first page you'll see is a letter that accompanied all of the photos that were submitted. And that just kind of details the process of what we've done in what's been commonly referred to as Rotary Park. And up to this point, and then kind of what we're hoping to do moving forward. So as you'll see, we have submitted a grant application, and that was submitted in conjunction with Darke County We Are the Majority. We worked with Kelly Harrison on that. And the funds that are available are between $500 and $2,000. So we did apply for $2,000. And that grant is for Make a Difference Day. So with that grant fund, the project has to be completed on a set date. So for this funding cycle, that date is Saturday, October 26th. So if we receive the grant, we would have to have a group of volunteers coming out together on October 26th to work on the park. So detailing just a little bit kind of what we've done so far. The design committee and Hillary Holzapfel has kind of helped head this up. We realized that space had become kind of dilapidated. There were some overgrown plants. The paint was flaking off of the walls, and it just looked not very good. So you'll see in the packet there are some before pictures there of what that looked like. So we, as Main Street, were able to work with those building owners, work with Sherwin-Williams, work with Marty McCabe to get some things donated, to get discounts on materials and supplies. So in some of the after pictures, you'll see what that looked like when we went through, pulled out some of those overgrown plants and the weeds, had those walls painted, and we were able to use a tinted sealant instead of just like a latex paint or something. So hopefully that will create more of a moisture barrier that'll keep that paint from flaking back off of the walls. So the last page you'll see is kind of what we are hoping to do. I apologize for the quality of the image. I am no graphic designer, but did try and kind of put together a rendering of what we're hoping that will look like. So ideally, what we would like to do is pull out the concrete pads that are there now that have the bench and the table on them. Those were donated by Rotary. We have contacted Rotary. They have no problem with us removing those and are willing to potentially donate some funds for kind of a revitalization of that space. So pulling out those concrete areas, and then we've talked to Dark Rural Electric. They are willing to donate some utility poles for us to have installed to be able to hang sail shades in that space. So the sail shades are essentially what they sound like. They are sunshades that are made of a sail-like material, so they do allow water and wind to flow through, so there won't be things piling on top of that shade structure. And then we would also like to string some lights in there, kind of twofold for obviously aesthetics of it, but that area is also not currently very well lit. Before we started working in that space, there were several times the police had to come out because people were squatting in the overgrown plant areas. There were people sleeping behind the utility boxes. There had been some reports of some other unsavory behavior taking place there. So we would ideally like to have that well lit to deter that type of behavior. So that's kind of what we're looking to do moving forward. The reason that we're here tonight, in conversations with the administration, we had requested the street department involvement to be able to help us bore the holes and install those utility poles, take out the concrete pads that are there now, and then create a tap-in for electric for those string lights to plug into. So those are the things that we would request street department involvement with. We obviously wanted to bring that in front of council since those are city employees and we'd be using their time to help with this project. I have been in conversations with Ryan Delk about this. He said it would be no problem for them to take care of it, but we needed to bring it to council. So if there are any questions about that, I'm happy to answer those.
It's a nice design that put together.
Yeah, we think it'll be a beautiful space. We're looking forward to being able to utilize it. With the way it was laid out previously, people couldn't really congregate there, so we're hoping to put some picnic tables in there. That'll be obviously movable. We can have music in there. We've talked about working with like a Boy Scout troop and having them sell Christmas trees or wreaths in that space during the holidays, things like that.
This is city property, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So when it comes to mowing the grass and so forth, it becomes a city responsibility?
It is a city responsibility.
Okay.
Krista, can I ask a question?
Yes.
What will be the cost to the city? I mean, I know you say you are city workers. Obviously, there's a charge for their time and labor.
Sure. So in talking with Ryan Delk, I did ask him to put together an estimate of what that would be. And so all inclusive, his estimate was $1,600.
Did you work through the safety service director on this, or did you go?
We did have meetings with the administration, but to get the estimate, I did contact Ryan directly.
Okay. I guess my suggestion would be to follow the chain of command and always work through the heads of the departments.
Okay.
Because safety service director is the director of all departments.
Sure.
And to work through them first before going directly to the individual departments. That would be a suggestion.
Any concrete?
For,
Ground area?
no, entirely grass. Yeah,
All grass at this point.
yes.
And who'd be responsible for removing that concrete and disposing of it?
The street department. So that was part of the request.
One of the advantages of having the concrete underneath the picnic tables is you don't have to move the tables to mow, then move them back. So it makes it a lot easier and quicker to get the grass mowed.
Because you're looking at wooden picnic tables?
Yes, that's what we're looking at currently. And we've worked before with like Lowe's or various landscaping companies in Greenville. And I know Lowe's before has previously let us borrow wood picnic tables for events. So we're hoping that they might be able to either donate some or give us a discount on purchasing those.
When the lights go out or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
changes the bulb.
So ideally, we plan to get string lights that are LED, so very long lasting. Obviously, very low energy. We would plan to set those on a timer, so they're only on in the evenings.
Next time.
But yes, so I mean, we would keep track of if any of those lights go out and need to be replaced. And I mean, we would probably work with the street department to hopefully be able to replace those. But ideally, they'll last for quite a long time before the strings have to be replaced.
That's $2,000 at grant. Have you got that yet?
No, we just applied for it. We should know by about September 13th.
And what are you going to apply that to? The lighting or?
Yeah, so it'll go towards the purchase of the lighting, the purchase of the sail shades, and then any additional materials that are needed for the volunteers on that date.
How much is the lighting going to be?
The lightings is not very expensive. I mean, you can get high quality outdoor string lighting, usually about $50 for a 25-foot strand. So we're probably looking at $200 to $300 total in cost for that. The sail shades do get much more expensive. And then if there is any left over once the sail shades are purchased, that would be applied towards any furnishing. So things like picnic tables.
You don't know what the cost of that sale stuff is?
No, we're working with a few people who have experience with the layout and installation of sail shades to figure out exactly how many we need and how those will be arranged. But typically for a large one, I mean, they're probably $300 a piece, and we would likely need a few of them to cover that entire area.
So basically, some of the figures you have are kind of speculative. They're not concrete figures.
Right, but those would all be covered by the grant, and that would run through Recovery and Wellness, and we are the majority. What the portion that we're asking City Council for is the street department involvement, and that has been estimated, and those numbers put together by the head of the street department for the $1,600 total.
So the street department's scope of work is to remove the benches, remove the concrete, remove the picnic table, set 4 poles.
4 poles.
4 poles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And help to install the sunshades when they come in?
We have volunteers who can help with installing the sunshades. We would ask the street department to do a tap-in for the electric for the string lights.
Okay.
Would the I guess you call it plastic picnic tables, would that be more beneficiary, being outside 24/7, 365 days a year?
Potentially. There I know are some recycled plastic options, like through solid waste management. They do have some things like that. So we can certainly look into that as an option. All in all, I mean, essentially our goal is to make this space look better. It was not maintained before it was overgrown. So we're trying to do something relatively inexpensive, bringing volunteers together. A lot of community organizations have already partnered and donated their time and resources to help with this. We'd just like to see it through.
I think it looks great. Great effort.
Does council want to commit to that with the street department?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Mr. Law Director, do we need a formal thing of like a not to exceed $1,500 in labor, or?
said 1,600, didn't they?
Pardon?
I think they said 1,600.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
A vote would be a motion, and a vote would be a vote.
Okay.
So moved.
Move what?
I had to make a motion to do it.
Okay. You move to,
I moved to make no more than $1,600 for the
Okay.
street department.
okay. Motion by Mrs. Houndeshell that the city commit to no more than $1,600 labor and equipment for this project. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Hotteshell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now the microphone is open to anyone else who wants to address council. Please come up, give your name and address, and state your case. Seeing no one, we will move the agenda to the administrative reports. Mayor Woman.
Thank you. Thank you for working on the Rotary Park. That's, and all the volunteers that have done anything already, so, and what's coming up. So it's gonna look nice. It was really good. It needed some help, no doubt. I wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to see the census paper. I just printed out a few of them there last minute here, just, I think you got one there. Yeah. One of the things that talks about is since a lady came from government that had the little information that everybody heard a while back, they're looking for volunteers, or they're looking for workers. Besides that, they want to make sure you understand that when you see that the community, when you see those people in the community that are doing the census, asking the questions, and you make sure you understand how to identify them, what they're going to have with them. There'll be a bag, there'll be a laptop, and they'll have an ID badge that says who they are. And if anybody out here wants a copy of that paper that shows what they're going to be doing and what they look like, there'll be an insignia on the laptop and the bag they carry for their information. So make sure they understand who they are. So I just wanted to bring it up to make sure people out in the residents and the community knows that they're going to be around one day. So starting that census.
My paper says not for public distribution, law enforcement only. I don't know. So can we give this to the general public?
I would think so. Came out in an email.
Huh?
Came out in an email.
Well, okay. Mean what you say and say what you mean. So, okay.
And what it says, the time.
Yeah.
Oh, besides that, only one other thing, it says fair time, of course, and everybody be careful. So there's a lot of traffic. So that's the only thing I'd say, so I'll pass.
Thank you. Safety Service Director, Mr. Garrison.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just to remind everyone that with Labor Day coming up, that will be our last band concert in the park. We are trying feverishly to, through Dusty Neely, to have a memorial set up and ready to present, I believe during that last concert, that would give recognition to all of the donors who donated for the bandshell project. So really looking forward to that, and then would invite all of you to come out to that, and I believe that will also be our last mini food truck rally of the year. So that food truck activity or festivities will start mid-afternoon through the start time of the concert, which I believe is moved up to 7 o'clock due to getting darker early. So keep that in mind. If you have nothing else to do on Sunday night, come out and partake. And that'll be actually a week from Sunday night. So just to let everyone know. And really only other two things to an update, just to let you know with all the projects that we've talked about, we're in the process of getting all the drawings completed and ready to go so that we can make a presentation to council, hopefully with the first meeting in September. And the other thing revolves around North Broadway. With the North Broadway project, the curb storm portion of the project, phase 1, we had a bid item that went through the North Broadway section and removed all of the old-style cleanouts for the sanitary sewer. If you've ever been in the older part of town, you know they look like a very mini catch basin. A lot of time we have to send letters to homeowners because they are the property of the homeowners. We'll need to send them letters because the mortar has become deteriorated, the lids become ajar, and they're not secure, and bad things can happen. So we ask and make the homeowners aware that, hey, you need to secure these. And they're also somewhat unsightly. You know, in today's modern technology, we use PVC pipe with a cap on it. It's much more low profile, and you know, people can't step in them and those kinds of things. So we made it a bid item up and down the North Broadway project that our contractor would replace those sewer cleanouts with PVC, the cleanout only. And we had a bid item of $900, and I believe we replaced approximately 30 or more of those cleanouts. However, the issue is that prior to the project, we had homeowners who were proactive and knew that they wanted to replace their entire sewer lateral. Maybe they had tree root issues for whatever reason. I've been approached by at least 2 people thus far that said, hey, prior to the project, I went ahead and I replaced all of my lateral and my clean out, and now I see the city has come down through here and replaced everyone else's clean out, and Broomball charged $900 to do that. So the question is, could those homeowners that took the initiative prior to the project and replaced their sewer lateral and their clean out be reimbursed $900 for the clean out? So that is a question on behalf of homeowners to this council, if you would entertain that or not.
How many?
Yeah.
I've been approached by 2 thus far. So it would be done, what we would have to, in my mind, just thinking how this would happen if approved by council, we would have to see an invoice that was paid by the property owner. Chris and our planning and zoning department would have done an inspection prior to any hookups. So would have completed an inspection, and we would see what that the homeowner had paid a bill to some contractor to do that work.
When it was bid out originally, was it per clean out or was it $900?
Per clean out, correct.
Clean out.
Per clean
So
out.
if they don't have, say, 30 of them to do, but have, say, 27, then they only get paid for the 27. Right?
They only, yeah, we had a bid item, and then that's, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't see any problem that the homeowner should be reimbursed.
No more 900, right?
I'm sorry?
What if they paid more than 900?
Yeah, it would just be whatever our bid item was,
Yeah.
$900.
Yeah.
And most likely, you wouldn't see an itemized.
Right.
They paid one fee to have the
Yeah.
entire lateral replaced. Do we need any form of legislation or just an informal vote, or?
No, I think for expenditure like that should be a piece of legislation.
Council approves it.
Pardon?
It should be approved by legislation.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I will make that request for the next meeting then. And with that, I will pass.
Oh, I had one question. What's the update on the, South Ohio Street project?
We broke it up into 2 sections. We had from the tracks to Martin Street as Phase 1, from the tracks to Sater Street as Phase 2. Phase 1 was completed, well, it shouldn't be complete, it's not completed. Phase 1 was started last week, and on Saturday, they put down what's called the intermediate course of asphalt from Martin Street to the tracks. And today, they started the reclamation process from the tracks to Sater Street. That has to set now for 4 days, at least a minimum of 4 days. With the rain, we may request it to, we just want it to dry out and harden. Obviously, with 90-degree weather, it dries out fairly quick. So it's in its curing process, and once it is cured, then we'll apply the intermediate layer to that section, and then Walls Brothers will come back and surface the entire project at one time.
Great. Get the nice improvement.
Yes.
Anything further?
I pass, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have questions for the Safety Service Director? Law Director, Mr. Brand.
Thank you, Mr. Burkett.
I would like to take this moment to acknowledge the resignation of our clerk. She's done a fine job. She will be very hard to replace. I wish her Godspeed in her position. Good luck. Glad
Congratulations.
you've been with us, and you have done a far superior job to the residents. Without all that.
You stole all of our thunder, but that's good. That's very well coming from you. Yes, you will be missed. I don't know. I don't have anybody to elbow me to keep me awake. Or tell me where to go here and what direction to, whether we're
We gotta break
roll
somebody
call
else
or,
in, huh?
pardon?
We gotta break somebody else in, huh? gonna be
All
hard.
of us.
It's gonna be hard.
Done a great job, Vicki.
Okay, City Auditor, Mrs. Willman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I too want to wish Vicki the best. We will miss you, but you know you're going to something better, so we're very happy for you. And with that, I pass.
Okay. Have no committee reports. We have 9 ordinances or resolutions to consider tonight. So we'll start off with supplemental appropriations ordinance. Take your time.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. This ordinance authorizes appropriations to the general fund for exams expense civil service in the amount of $6,000. These funds are needed to cover additional civil service testing.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Mr. Godwin, to suspend the rules, read your title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019.
Motion to adopt this ordinance?
Motion by Mrs. Hottishell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Next, we have a transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. This ordinance allows a transfer to the Public Transportation Fund from Utilities Public Transportation in the amount of $2,500 to Department Head Salary Public Transportation in the amount of $2,190 to PERS Workers' Comp City FICA Public Transportation in the amount of $310. This transfer is needed to cover salary and benefits through December 31st, 2019 for the new Transportation Director.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Mr. Godwin, suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Motion to adopt this ordinance?
Motion by Mrs. Hottishell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance amending prior ordinance 19-86 regarding provisions of water service to Mr. Kirkpatrick.
An ordinance amending prior ordinance number 19-86 regarding provision of water service to Kirkpatrick. This ordinance amends ordinance number 1986 to allow Kirkpatrick to pay the water tap fee in 8 quarterly installments over a period of 2 years.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
An ordinance amending prior ordinance number 19-86 regarding provision of water service to Kirkpatrick. An ordinance amending prior ordinance number 19-86 regarding provision of water service to Kirkpatrick.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Haudashell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Haudashell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance to increase street openings and reduce bond amount for 2019 Vectren Energy Gas Lateral Project.
An ordinance increasing the number of street openings to be permitted and reducing the amount of the guarantee bond to be required in connection with the 2019 Vectren Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project. This ordinance increases the number of street openings permitted, reduces the guarantee bond required, and requires a permit fee of $25 per service address regarding the 2019 Vectren Energy Gas Lateral Replacement Project, which will affect approximately 204 residences or properties within the city.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules and read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Haudashell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance increasing the number of street openings to be permitted and reducing the amount of the guarantee bond to be required in connection with the 2019 Vectren Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project. An ordinance increasing the number of street openings to be permitted and reducing the amount of the guarantee bond to be required in connection with the 2019 Vectren Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Haudashell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
What area of the
Yeah.
city are we talking about here?
And why is the change here all of a sudden in the middle of the program?
What do you mean change?
Well, why are we have a set fee already, right?
We change it for Vector in all of their projects. This is
We
not
do?
the first time, yes. Yeah, this is something that's been done.
So this is something new that they're doing?
This is their newest project this year, yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Schmidt, go
I
ahead.
was just curious what area of the city they're gonna be working on.
They're in here with our paving of 3rd, 4th, and 5th Street, the parking lots. So they're taking care of the Broadway area. It'd be the east part of town, north of Martin, well, east of Martin. Martin Street runs east, so it would be the north side of Martin Street, up to and around River Street.
Okay.
That area.
Thank you.
So they guaranteed you they're not gonna make a hole in Third Street?
They say they didn't guarantee they're not, but they know what level it has to go back.
What was the reason for your question?
Third Street was just paved last year,
Yeah,
West 3rd.
or yeah, West Third. And they're down there marking gas lines and it's like this far from the curb
okay.
on the road.
Further discussion? Okay, the motion is to adopt the ordinance. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Haudashell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance establishing sidewalk regulations.
An ordinance establishing sidewalk regulations. This ordinance establishes sidewalk regulations in order for the city to compel property owners to repair sidewalks located on their property. If the owners fail to comply, the city may proceed to have the repairs made and have the cost assessed on real estate taxes. The city must establish rules and regulations to provide standards to determine whether a sidewalk needs repair. These rules and regulations shall be incorporated into the codified ordinances. Property owners who are required to have sidewalk repairs by this procedure should not be assessed the sidewalk permit fee, but still must comply with all other requirements.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance a reading by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Haudashell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing sidewalk regulations. An ordinance establishing sidewalk regulations.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. I was looking through the City of Greenville Sidewalk Assessment Policy. Mr. Brand, you and I had had a discussion before. Do you recall where the section is that gives residents the ability to, what I want to say, refute or question what they should do and how it's to be handled? Okay. Request for you by the Safety Committee. Is that item 2 or 3?
So if the city says that a sidewalk has to be replaced, then the property owner can appeal that to the safety committee?
Right. That's where it is, to the Safety Committee, right? Yes, okay, good enough. I assume you all had an opportunity to review that pretty thoroughly, so. Whoop.
Oh, boy.
Oh, well.
We know who you are.
I don't care. Thank you. I fall down, go boom.
You know, I knocked off a couple times.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion to adopt, correct? Further questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
No.
Hensley,
No.
Hottishell,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
What carries? 4-3?
3-3.
Oh, 3 noes, 3 yes. The chair votes yes. Item 6, resolution assessing liens on properties for noxious weed mowing, trash removal, and declaring an emergency.
A resolution certifying to the Dark County Auditor certain amounts to be entered upon tax duplicates as liens representing expenses incurred by the City of Greenville, Ohio, for its services rendered in cutting and destroying noxious weeds or removing litter pursuant to authority granted by Section 731.51 to 731.53, inclusive of the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring an emergency. This resolution will assess noxious weed mowings and trash removals to multiple parcels. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion from Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Hottishell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution certifying to the Dark County Auditor certain amounts to be entered upon tax duplicates as liens representing expenses incurred by the City of Greenville, Ohio, for its services rendered in cutting and destroying noxious weeds or removing litter pursuant to authority granted by Section 731.51 to 731.53, inclusive of the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring an emergency. A resolution certifying to the Dark County Auditor certain amounts to be entered upon tax duplicates as liens representing expenses incurred by the City of Greenville, Ohio, for its services rendered in cutting and destroying noxious weeds or removing litter pursuant to authority granted by Section 731.51 to 731.53, inclusive of the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to adopt the emergency?
Motion from Mrs. Howenshell to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Hottishell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Schmidt to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Hottishell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
And next, we have a resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for refuse removal service.
A resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for refuse removal services. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to solicit for bids for refuse removal services.
Move to suspend the rules and read this resolution second and third time by title only?
Motion, Mrs. Hottishell, to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Pettischall,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for refuse removal service. A resolution authorizing solicitation of bids for refuse removal services.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Pettischall,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
That's a big one. Next, we have a resolution authorizing accepting the Instituform Technologies LLC bid for sewer lining services.
A resolution accepting the Instituform Technologies LLC bid for sewer lining services. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to accept the bid from Instituform Technologies LLC for lining sanitary sewers under Martin Street.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution a second and third reading by title only.
Mr. Schmidt, to suspend the rules and read the resolution by title second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Pettischall,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution accepting the Instituform Technologies LLC bid for sewer lining services. A resolution accepting the Instituform Technologies LLC bid for sewer lining services.
Move to adopt this resolution.
Motion, Mrs. Howe to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
We used this company before.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, for a long time.
One of them.
Well, I see West, I see that Westlake or West,
We're
whatever.
doing the manhole.
Further discussion? Motion is to adopt. Call roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Pettischall,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
And finally, a resolution authorizing accepting bid for street maintenance paving for 2019.
A resolution authorizing accepting bid for street maintenance paving for 2019. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to accept the bid from Walls Brothers Asphalt Incorporated for maintenance paving for 2019.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution a reading by title only for second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title second, third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Pettischall,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing accepting the bid for street maintenance paving for 2019. A resolution authorizing accepting the bid for street maintenance paving for 2019.
Move to adopt it.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Pettischall,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that concludes our ordinances and resolutions for this evening. Old business and nothing under new business communications.
Monthly reports were received from the Fire Department, Police Department, and Transit Department. These reports were distributed to council.
Any other communications? Okay, I guess we'll call down the council.
Mr. Whitaker?
I was in a meeting the other day with the Design Committee of Main Street Greenville, and one of the things that came up were, I know some discussion was had within the administration regarding new trash cans for downtown, and the ones that are there now are just rusting, and they've lasted, 30 years? Maybe more, I don't know, but right now they look like heck. And given that they lasted that long, it's time to replace them. And given we're doing this stamped concrete project, to put those down over the new stamped concrete could have an effect on the stamped concrete and its looks. And that might be a time to do that in conjunction with the stamped concrete project. So just kind of throwing that out there. I would suspect though that the administration would kind of take a look at and see which ones, they recommend and kind of go from there. But I would recommend personally, from after the discussion that they kind of do that in conjunction with the stamped concrete project if they're going to replace them. I think it would make sense. Vicki, you did a great job during the time I've been here, and I know you have for the last several years. How long you've been?
5.5.
5.5 years. Well, congratulations on your new position. And we're certainly going to miss you. And with that, I'll pass.
Mr. Wright?
I walked into Vicky's office tonight, looked at her and said, we have to have a discussion. And she said, I wondered when that was going to occur. But hope you have the best at your new job. I'll pass.
Mr. Godwin?
I'm gonna make a motion to excuse the absences for this month.
Motion, Mr. Godwin, to excuse the absences for the month of August. Discussion. Call roll.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Pettichelle?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Okay. Then, Vicki, you will be missed. Thanks for everything that you've done. And good luck with your new job. And with that, I'll pass.
Mr. Hensley?
Yes, Vicki, congratulations. And with that, I will pass.
Mrs. Pettichelle?
First thing, everybody be careful with the fair and the traffic, but have a good time. And Vicki, what can I say? We love you. And you will be missed. And congratulations on your new job. And with that, I pass.
Mr. Schmidt?
Gonna miss you, Vic. These meetings run pretty smooth with you over there in that seat, so gonna be some big shoes to fill, but we wish you nothing but the best. Appreciate everything. Remember, we got school starting, so there's gonna be a bunch of buses out here on the road real quick, folks, so let's be paying attention. There aren't too many stories anymore about bus issues, so please be careful. And with that, I will pass.
President Burkett?
Well, what can I say? I got the call the other morning that I didn't want to get. And she says, hey, I'm going to move on. And it's like, okay, now what do we do? And you get the process, like we did with you a long time ago. But appreciate everything that you've done. You've helped us an awful lot. You've done very well. I hate to bring up I don't want to say old, that's previous employees. But there's one thing that you cannot do, and you cannot read as fast as former auditor Marvell Fletcher. All due respect to Marvell, I love you, and she was really good. But man, she could read faster than I could listen. I mean, it was really amazing. But you did very well, and even the nights that we had 10, 11, 12 pieces of legislation, that's a lot of reading, and so I appreciate that. And as far as keeping things going, from the council clerk's position, there are a lot of legal things that the clerk is responsible for, making sure that all of the legislation is posted and presented to the media in a timely manner, and actually making sure that it's done. So it's a tremendous responsibility, and I think it's amazing. Just for your edification, she does a tremendous job here with the computer right beside you, clicking things out. And the minutes are very well kept. It's not a stenographer, not like a court recording that is verbatim, word for word, but it's not required to be by law at the regular council meetings. But the notes and the minutes are always accurate from the committee meetings on. And I would caution members of council, and all of you are chair of a committee, and you're going to have to start to rely a little bit more on yourselves as far as getting reports done and things of that nature. So Vicky's last day is the 30th, correct? This month. She has agreed to come and help with council meetings if we get caught in the lurch or whatever may be done. So that's being worked out, but, and unless we have a special meeting between now and the end of the month, again, I certainly do thank you for your service, and that it's been fun, and it was always a pleasure meeting your son, and you drag him along and make him sit back there and listen to all this nonsense once in a while. Hopefully, and an appreciation for local government a little bit. And thank you so much. I appreciate all you've done. With that, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Adjourned by Mrs. Howard-Michelle. Call the roll, please.
I'd just like to say I wish the best to the city of Greenville.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Been fun working with you.
Frustrating, but fun. All right.
Sometimes. Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
We're gonna miss you. Yes.
is that a yes? Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Hottishell,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned, regretfully. Good night.